May I remind you that trading is risky and not suitable for everyone. Your past performance, good or bad, is not necessarily indicative of future results. Please stay small, stay humble, focus on the long term, and never risk money you cannot afford to lose. Welcome to QuantBox Daily. This is your London brief. Today is the 17th of January, Tuesday. Hello, my babies. For those of you who are new here, what is QuantBox? QuantBox is your global macroeconomic quant in a box. It's a beautiful digital tool that gives you all of the information you need to have a fundamental bias in the market, which you then match up with technicals and make money. But you've got to be patient, though, because sometimes fundamentals indicate something and the technicals might not indicate the same thing. So you've got to be really good at like matching them up, but I'll show you exactly how to do it, okay? So it's got everything. It's got economic data, COT data, retail sentiment. It's got a news calendar. It's got some technicals. It basically gives you a bias on a currency pair or asset class. You then go into the market and you then trade in the direction of that bias if your technicals are saying the same thing. If you want to give it a try, it's just $7.90 for 1 week. Cool. So what we do in this session is the specific strategy we use with QuantBox is we look at the market heat map. And we take a look at the currency pairs, which are currently the most bullish and the most bearish. And we then match that up with a fundamental bias. So right now we can see that our Nikkei is up, our yen pairs. Okay, we've got some risk on right now. Okay, this is pretty cool. So you can see all our yen pairs are weak. That's good. And if we look down here, those are all our losers. Okay. So we've got some pound pairs down here. Okay, cool. And Aussie, Euro, Pound, Dollar, Pound Swissy, USD ZAR, Euro Swissy. So we look at all of these. The idea is that if a currency pairs come down and we have a bullish bias, has price come down to support? If price is going up, have we got a bearish bias and has price come up to resistance? Or if price is going up, have we got a bullish bias and can we continue trading in the direction of that potential trend? And if price is bearish, have we got a bearish bias and can we continue trading in the direction of that trend? If we are neutral on the fundamentals, which can happen, we then use technicals accordingly, okay? Cool. It's kind of like, this is our information that we use to go fishing, basically, right? Now, it doesn't mean that just because this information is here and we've got all these details, that we have beautiful setups in the market, okay? Be prepared. What you do is the idea that you go through this market heat map before a market open, you identify any potential opportunities that really stand out, and if there are any, then you set them up tactically and you take those trades. But patience is key, my friends. All of the fundamental bias and technical bias in the world won't save you if you aren't disciplined and patient. Okay, cool. So let's jump into it. So let's look at our yen pairs. So we got Aussie yen, dollar yen, CAD yen, pound yen, euro yen. So basically all our yen pairs are up. So now we can see because they're up, we want to jump into our yen pairs over here. I've just got two QuantBox profiles open. And you can see on the Japanese yen currency pairs, we can then take a look at our yen pairs. We can say, right, so bias is sell. We like that because this means that Aussie yen is coming up. We have a bias of sell. Can we short? Okay, has price come up to resistance? CAD yen, sell. Euro yen, neutral. Pound yen, strong sell. And Kiwi yen, neutral. Okay, so some neutral, some sell. Generally, though, if we could look to short all of them, we will, but it depends on position. So we jump into our technicals. And let's start with Aussie yen, okay? So Aussie yen on the daily, taking a look where we are right now, not really in a position to sell yet, okay? I don't see price at resistance. Yesterday's close didn't really close at resistance. Looking at an H4 time frame, currently at a 4-hour 21, but I don't like structure of price. Look at how prices come up, come down, little range going on over here. Prices shot up into the 21. This does not look like a bearish trend. We've made a lower low and then a higher low, okay? So to me, this is consolidating, which means that I'm going to ignore the moving average and say to myself, has price closed at resistance? Now, this candle over here, this 4 o'clock candle, is the last candle to close before London. As you can see, price is currently at support. Therefore, I leave Aussie yen alone. I move on. It's literally a case of like, I'm not looking for maybes or kind ofs. I want to see opportunities that really stand out where we can make money. Now, this kind of discipline means that there might be times when you aren't trading. And that's good because we only want to trade when we're absolutely sure that we have a potential to make money. Otherwise, what's the point, right? There's no point in losing money because you haven't got discipline and patience. This is CAD yen. Right now, we can see we're currently down here. H4, I'm not seeing any opportunity. I've got this little range over here. I'm not seeing massive volatility right now. Let's move on, okay? And this has been happening this week and last week. It's just the way things are. We continue being disciplined and continue looking for opportunities. Okay, right now, Euro Yen all the way down here, H4. I'm not seeing a higher low. I'm not seeing price at support. Price coming up to a 4.21. Also not liking the way price is structured right now. If you're convinced this is going to go down, all you do is you look at an M15 time frame, you wait for lower low, lower high, okay? And your R1 takes you to S1, okay? 21 above the 55 right now. So as it currently stands, you would not look at selling this. You want to see price come down, pull back for a sell, and then come down, okay? If you're insistent on the 21 EMA being resistance, and you can do the exact same thing with your Aussie yen as well. If you insist that is resistance and price is going to come down, all you do, you look at your M15 time frame, you say, right, so give me a lower low, lower high. Trap the range, wait for a breakout of the range, wait for a pullback, 21 crosses the 55, you sell the lower high, you take it down. And you're coming off a daily profit-taking zone, so your target is the central or DM2. The reason why you're using daily pivots is because from a weekly perspective, you don't really have weekly pivots at play, okay? Unless you consider central to S2. And if you do consider central to S2, then what you're doing is, if you get the lower low, lower high on the M15 time frame, when you get down to the central or down to the M2, you're paying attention to price not becoming bullish. The moment you see bullishness, you get out of that trade. So it's a scalp that could potentially be a longer term trade, right? What's nice about that is you're not making assumptions based on price being at support. You're looking at this and saying, I don't think that looks very bearish, but your M15 time frame confirms everything for you. Okay, cool. And you do the exact same thing on all your currency pairs. Euro yen, we looked at euro yen. Okay, so that's the story there. So it's the same formula on each of your yen pairs. Pound yen coming through with a strong sell, not in a great position for selling. You could look at this from a daily perspective and say, hold on a second, price broke support, support's become resistance. Have I got an opportunity to sell here? Take a look at your H4. If you're lining your 21 EMA up, you certainly can do that, but you have to wait for price to get to that level of resistance. Price is not there yet. So you're probably going to wait for New York. If price gets there, exact same thing. Looking for that lower low, lower high, take it down. If you are selling, you want to see price coming off a central to get down to an S2. If that's your strategy. Tactically, you'll be looking at your M15 chart saying lower low, lower high, R1, S1. If you want to do the weekly trade, then what you're doing is when price gets down to S1, you're paying attention to potential bullishness. If you don't get it, then you pay attention to potential bullishness down here, and so on and so forth. Okay? That's how you do that strategically and tactically. Kiwi yen on the daily, you can see not a great setup. H4, same as the Aussie yen. If you're looking at this 21 EMA and saying, oh, that looks delicious. My concern is, did we make a lower low? Looks like price is ranging. I'm not liking the structure over here. But again, jump with your M15 time frame. Look for that lower low, lower high. Let's just get the right pivots on here. And you're looking at this and you're saying, I've got a daily R1 to daily S1. I've got a weekly central. So if you're looking at weekly central down to the S2, that's totally fine. All you do then, look for that lower low, lower high, trap price in range. Look for that lower low, lower high, 21 across the 55, we take it down. And then when price gets down to the S1, if you get a higher high, higher low, then you have to realize that you have to get out of that trade. If you don't get that, and once I say higher high, higher low, I mean price comes down, bounces around, higher high, higher low, 21 crosses the 55 up, price closes at support, you get out the trade. If you don't get that, do the same thing over here. And if it doesn't happen over here, then you are taking price down to the S2. Okay, cool. Easy. Let's take a look at our other pairs inside our, so that's the yen pairs up here. Now, of course, you can, with QuantBox, you can go through each of these pairs and do the exact same thing, and you'd follow the exact same procedure at New York Open. In terms of the most bearish pairs, what do we got? We've got Euro Kiwi down here. So Euro Kiwi, big loser for the session. So we go into our cross currencies. We've got Euro Kiwi over here. So Euro Kiwi coming through with a neutral bias. Let's take a look at it technically. Euro Kiwi, and where are we? Euro Swissy. Give me a second to open my eyes. Euro Kiwi. Okay, cool. And daily, I see price in a range right now. Okay. If you're trading top of the range over here, if you're going to take this down, it's not a difficult trade. You can see there's your range. Okay. All you're doing is you're simply saying, well, if price is going to come down to the bottom of the range, Same thing we spoke about before on your M15 time frame, looking for a lower low, lower high. Very much out of position. Things you have to worry about if you're trading this close to a profit-taking zone is price coming down and shooting back up. Personally, I'm not a fan of this trade. Okay, I want to sell high. All the yen pairs were all high, which makes them great sells if they present bearishness. This over here, not so great. Also, look at the fact that currently you're sitting very much at the bottom of a range right now. Okay, I'm not a massive fan of that. So I'll leave this alone. What's next? We got pound Kiwi. Pound Kiwi coming through with a strong sell. Okay. Seems like that's a consistent thing on pound pairs right now. So pound Kiwi, let's take a look at our daily. Look at that volatility. I'm not even going to look any closer on any other time frames. This is just really nasty. Okay. You want to trap price inside that range, see a breakout, see a pullback. If you insist on trading it over there, what you're looking for, look at that volatility. It's nasty. If you insist on trading it over there on the M15 time frame, you can see our price is broken to 21, coming up to the 55. I don't like volatility. Plus, you're completely out of position for a sell. Okay. We're looking for trades that give us a much better opportunity of winning, or trading, of making money. Not looking for gambles. We're not looking for maybes. We're not looking for like, I feel like that's going to go down. Use technicals to confirm your fundamentals. Euro Swissy. Looking at Euro Swissy over here, we've got a bias of buy. Okay, cool. And we can see that Euro Swissy currently bearish. That's nice. So has price come down to support, and can we buy? Let's take a look. Euro Swissy. So looking at the daily time frame, really out of position for a buy. The buy was earlier in the month. Okay. You can see there's your higher high, there's your higher low. Would have bought this 21 across the 55, would have bought this earlier in the last week. Right now, you're not doing anything. Okay, bias is bullish. We can't buy over there. Out of position. USD ZAR. Take a look at USD ZAR in our dollar pairs. USD ZAR coming through with okay, it's actually over down here. USD ZAR. In our exotics coming through neutral. Okay, let's take a look. USD ZAR coming through neutral. Bearish for the session. Let's take a look. USD ZAR and daily. Okay. Can we continue the buy? No, completely out of position for a buy, not liking the volatility. We move on, okay? We move on. Pound Swissy, okay? Let's see. Pound Swissy, according to other pound pairs, this should be a strong sell, at least a sell. It's neutral. Okay, cool. So let's take a look. Pound Swissy. Where are we now? Pound Swissy on the daily. Let's take a look at our daily. And look at that volatility. It's terrible. But you have got monthly M3 at play over here. On a H4, do we have lower lows and lower highs? Not necessarily. If you see, I don't see price closing a resistance, okay? But again, what you could be doing is you could simply look at your M15 time frame, and you could be identifying, like there's a 21 over there. The problem is, do I have resistance on higher time frames? Look at your H4 candle here. Look how closed down. If you were selling off of price closing a resistance over here, let's change the color of this line, then fine. If you're selling off of price closing resistance up here, then fine. But right now, where's your resistance? If you feel like that's a continuation and you took a trade over there, sure, you can go ahead and do that. But recognize that price could come down here and bounce back. If I was up high, I'd have a much greater chance of making more profit. Okay. Not liking this trade because of the position. Let's look at one more, pound dollar. Looking at pound dollar coming through with a sell. Okay, let's take a look at pound dollar. Pound dollar on the daily. Okay, you got a monthly M3 at play. Okay, cool. H4, I'm not seeing any lower lows and lower highs here. M15, I'm seeing low volatility as well. I'm not liking that. Now, another strategy you could follow on QuantBox, you can go to your dashboard and you could look at your top buys and your top sells, and then follow the exact same technical strategy I've just shared with you in the market heat map. And of course, you can do this before every single market open. Very, very helpful, very handy. So the summary of today's session is overall yen pairs seem high, some of them coming through with bearish fundamentals. What I would be doing is I'd waiting for those yen pairs to set up and potentially take them down lower. That's my idea for the market today. But again, patience is required, discipline is required. If you have those two things, you might just remain liquid. I wish you a good day, my friends. See you tomorrow. All the best. Bye-bye.